Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me now is Joan Bowman, the Senior Director of Public Affairs and Communications for the Michigan Nonprofit Association. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
What exactly does your organization do?
Well, the Michigan Nonprofit Association was established in 1990, and we're a statewide membership organization that serves a very large and diverse nonprofit sector here in Michigan. And we do most of our work in three main areas. One is called capacity building, which means we provide resources and tools for nonprofits to be more effective and efficient. We work a lot in civic engagement, which is promoting volunteerism and philanthropy. And then we work in the public policy area, which is the work that I direct, which is advocating for regulations and legislation that makes it easier for nonprofits to do their work. So, we're very proud of our 25-year history of being a leader, an advocate, and a support system for the nonprofits here in the state.
I think when people hear nonprofit, the first thing you think of is some small organization that's out there doing good for a small little niche somewhere. But really, taking on the whole, nonprofits have a huge economic impact here in the state of Michigan.
That is quite true. The nonprofit sector is vital to Michigan's economy. And like I said, it's a very large, diverse sector. So again, it could be a small nonprofit that's volunteer-led, but then it also, an organization can be an anchor institution like a hospital or a university. So nonprofits in the state employ 1 in 10 workers, and that represents about 11% of our workforce. So translated, that's about 440,000 jobs here in the state of Michigan. So the economic impact is very strong, and like you said, people normally think of us in terms of our human and community benefits, but the economic benefits are just as significant.
You mentioned that you work a little bit in the public policy sector. What public policies would really affect a nonprofit?
Well, believe it or not, I track hundreds of bills every year on the state level as well as the federal level, but most of the legislation falls into three main areas. The one is budget and spending. About a third of nonprofits rely on our budget, state budget for their revenue. And so decisions on budget and spending can be immediate and severe to a nonprofit. So the Michigan Nonprofit Association opposes any kind of arbitrary or across-the-board spending cuts. So that's one area. Another big area are public-private partnerships, because nonprofits collaborate closely with government to solve problems in the community. And so we want to make sure that the contracting process is streamlined, that we get paid on time, and that reporting isn't onerous. But probably the biggest area is in tax policy. And consistent tax policies is probably the most important area that I look at, because nonprofits, the work that we do is for the public good. And what that does is lessen the burden on government and taxpayers. So we strongly support and are committed to preserving our tax-exempt status, as well as incentivizing people to give. So giving incentives are things like charitable tax contributions, deductions for charitable contributions, as well as tax credits. So any of that policy not only helps nonprofits, but it also helps individual taxpayers.
All kinds of things happening behind the scenes we don't think about. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
For more information on today's topic, you can head to mnaonline.org. Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Joan Bowman, the Senior Director of Public Affairs and Communications for the Michigan Nonprofit Association.